Hey guys, this is Sam with the RG Reviews, and today I'm bringing you a high point review. I've already done one. It was back when we first started and I had to use like my laptop as a camera, or I had to use the camera in my laptop, and it just wasn't that high quality. Now I feel like I've gained a lot more experience with firearms since then, both just in different varieties and training. Which gives me a little bit more of a perspective on the high point, or a different perspective, I should say. So let's get this thing started. I'll go over the technical specifications really quickly. Just its features and it's what it weighs in at, whatnot. Unloaded, weighs 25 ounces. Loaded. Of course, this is depending on what kind of ammo you're loading and which high point it is. This is a C9 model. I didn't tell you all that yet. It's the 9mm model. They market it as their compact model, the compact C9. These, you can find ones with compensators. They really don't do. I mean, it's the gun's pretty heavy, so compensation isn't really necessary. It's got a 3.5-inch barrel, 6 3/4 inches long, and magazines are 8 rounds each. What's kind of cool about this is this pistol. Generally, you can pick them up fairly cheap, around 160 bucks, between 160 and $200, just depending on which one you get. They do have the 45 model and the 40 caliber model. There's a lot of people that bash high points, and that's just the way it is, and it's not going to change. Whether that be they had a bad experience with a high point, because I get it now. When people have bad experiences with guns, it sucks, and it really leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Our experience with Savage Stevens shotguns are horrible right now. But I see a lot of other people saying, well, I've had a Savage Stevens for this amount of time, and I've shot it this much, and I haven't had a single problem. It's been nothing but great. Which, it's just one of those things. It's really like, how acceptable is it to have X amount of mistakes and X amount of successes, as far as in a production, like in a high, how should I say, high volume production. What's the acceptable failure rate of your product? That's the clearest way to say it. And Savage Stevens, I don't think they have an acceptable failure rate right now, because everybody does have their failures. It happens. It doesn't matter who you are. It's just going to happen. And, it doesn't matter what gear you buy. It's going to happen. But let's talk about this high point a little more. I got off on a little tangent there. My high point's failure rate has been acceptable. This, I barely have any issues with it, to be honest. I've ran a lot of rounds through this. This was my very first pistol. I had the choice between a couple other guns, and now, being an experienced person with firearms now, I look back and I'm like, oh man, I should have got that gun. But at the time, I really liked the high point. I was like, man, that gun, 160 bucks, I'm saving some dough, and I'm getting, it was cool. It's all black. I shouldn't say it's like those dogs that are so ugly they're cool to look at, to me, I guess. It's like, it's hard to explain, but there's a lot of people that have the same complaints about like the ergonomics. They complain about the same things like Glock, the same people about Glock, like the grips are uncomfortable, which really, I don't have an issue with them. My hand fits them rather well. Never had an issue bumping my thumb on the safety, or bumping my thumb on the magazine release. I maintain it. I've shot it a lot, to be honest. I'm not going to say I've shot this the most out of all my guns, but I've shot it quite a bit. Enough, man, I'd like to say close to 1,000, if not maybe a little more. They say this is pot metal and whatnot. If it is, mine's held up. You know, mine, I haven't blown it up. I will say I don't like the field strip on this. It's ridiculous. I mean, they could have figured out a better way than that. Like, you have to take a punch, and right there in this recess, you probably can't see it. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. Yeah, there we go. Focus. Sorry, guys. Usually I have a cameraman. Tonight I'm by myself. Right there in that recess, at the rear, right there, that is actually a pin, and you have to use a punch to punch it out. It's ridiculous. And then it's even harder to put it back in, to be honest. I just don't get why they did it. I'm at a loss for words just thinking about it. I'm stumbling over myself. Whenever I really just something hurts my head, like I don't get why they do it, I stumble over my speech. I don't know if y'all have noticed that, but it happens. Well, another pro for this gun is I disassembled it and I put it back together incorrectly. I put the sear in there backwards or something like that, the smith said. Well, I sent it off to High Point. In like 3 weeks, High Point, my gun was back to me, and not only was it fixed, all I had to do is pay shipping, and they sent me a magazine and ghost ring sights and a trigger lock. They pretty much sent me everything you get brand new with the gun. But yeah, they sent me these ghost ring sights. They're not bad. I've used them once or twice, you know, out the range. The last couple of times I went shooting, I took them out. It's got that yellow. That's kind of cool about High Points. Really bright colored front posts. And if you have the rear sights on there, they're red dots. So, you know, it makes it easy to see your sights. Another con about High Points, if you guys are keeping track. The magazines are not reliable right out of the box. Not all of them, at least. I've gotten maybe one that was just straight up reliable that I haven't had to mess with. Yeah, there's a feed lip trick you got to do. You have to either bend them out or in. They're a little, they're just a little off, and that causes either the rounds to pop out. You know, doing double feeds, stuff like that, or sometimes I had mine bottlenose down into the in the magazine. Well, they would like drag up because it'd be like too tight right there. I don't know if anybody else has had that one, but I did on 2 of them. You basically, when you buy a new High Point, you get their instruction manual. It shows you the different model. It shows you 2 different models, the C9 and the 380 version. Anthony had a friend that had the 380, and he shot it, and he said it wasn't bad at all. He said it was pretty cool. You know, it just gives you the specifications, safety, blah 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 blah. Gives you the disassembly as well. There's not really that much to this one, to this gun. I've taken it down pretty close to completely disassembled. You know, and it's not even that hard to put back together. It's just that stupid field stripping thing is ridiculous. Now, when people tell me that they're going to buy a High Point, nowadays, at the place that I work, I talk to people a lot about, a lot of people come in and they ask about what should they get for their first gun, and about 70% of them bring up a High Point. And that's just because they schmoozed in a gun store, walked around a little bit, and then saw the cheapest pistols, and then they saw the most expensive pistols, and those are probably the ones that they remember. And they usually talk to me about both. And they start in on the High Point. Either the High Point or like a little tiny 380, or I've heard a lot of people bring up Jimenez, which I've heard just so many horrible things about Jimenez. I don't even want to buy one because I just don't want to waste my money. But the High Point here, when people ask me about it, I really can't tell them don't buy it. I tell them there's a lot better things out there, and that's very true. You know, by far is it not the worst pistol ever made. There's been all kinds of stress tests done on them. I believe there's a channel, I'm not sure on his complete name, but it's Iraqi veteran. I know that those guys are cool, and they have a lot of a lot of great reviews and a lot of good tests, and they do a really cool test on a high point review, or on a high point, and I believe it was the 45, either 40 or the 45, and they tested all kinds of different ammo, and these are plus P rated, people. $160 plus P rated pistol, and by the way, the warranty on these things is fully transferable for a lifetime, no joke. You can buy this used, you can buy it through a private sale with no receipt at all, and it is a lifetime warranty. It's pretty cool. It reminds me of like Snap-on tools. That's no joke. You know, in retrospect, out of the pistols that I would have picked, or could have picked, I wouldn't have picked this. Knowing what I know now, just because I look at firearms as not only self-defense, and I'm expressing a right when I purchase a firearm. It's an investment. It's almost a liquid asset. You know, it's this. You know, that's as good as money. Better than money, actually. That's what I feel about it. And I could have chosen a better investment that day, like a CZ82, or like I had an option to get another CZ82 or something else, just kind of in the mid-price range. But I chose this, which is good because it's a popular pistol, and a lot of people ask me about it. You know, they say these are like gangbanger guns. You know, I don't know. I know if I was a gangster and I was planning on getting into gunfights, I wouldn't buy a high point. I would get a Glock or something. Yeah. But you never know. That's people just wanting to save a buck. And as far as this one goes, you could buy worse. This isn't a bad gun. You can shoot it. I know people that bought these brand new, left them in the package, like bought 4 or 5 of them, just stuck them in a closet, hold on to them. Good idea. Because at the end of the day, it's a gun that shoots. You know, I've never not had it, you know, shoot. Not until I physically broke the gun, you know. One thing that's kind of cheesy is the slide catch. It's not really, when you're trying to do the field strip, the slide catch is notorious for slipping, and then it puts pressure on your punch, and it's just, it sucks. So that is lame. The grips, you know, they are plasticky and hard, not real. The material isn't impressive. As far as them being comfortable, they're alright. Trigger pull, you have to have the magazine in. Actually, I forgot about that. Empty mag. Trigger pull, I've felt a lot worse. Mostly on really small subcompacts though, that are supposed to be concealed models. And you know, I'm saying a lot of bad things about this gun, but at the end of the day, it's a gun that shoots. You know, that's just how I feel about it. It goes bang and it's accurate. What more do you really want in a $160 pistol? And it's, for me, it's been reliable. You know, and it shot steel ammo too. I mean, that's cool. 8 shots though, really, in a gun this big. Okay, that's definitely another con. 8 shots. Oh goodness. And in their carbines, it's even worse. What's it, like 10 or 15 shots in like a pistol caliber carbine? That's ridiculous. You might as well just be carrying a pistol. That's, you know, it's insane. Really. Single stack magazine and that big old grip. It's a waste of space. Could have been engineered better. You could have had cool double stack magazines. 16 shot magazines in a $160 pistol. That would have been dope. But no. I want to like this pistol a lot. I really do. I want to say they're, you know, it's like the MAV 88 of pistols. I want to say that. But, you know, to me, in my original video, I really defended it hardcore. Now, I don't blame someone if they want to buy something else. That's just me, though. This video kind of dragged on a little bit. I kind of went off on a couple tangents, but it's been a long week and I haven't got to make a lot of videos where I just kind of talked about stuff going on and talked about just a broader spectrum of my views. But guys, comment on it. Don't make it hateful, really. You leave a constructive comment, for real. You can tell by the tone of this video I'm not gonna bash on people that are gonna say, hey, I don't like this gun, and I'm not gonna blame people that are like, yeah, I went out and bought one. Because the other people that have had some, I've talked to a lot of people that have had some, and they're all right with it. One or two are like, oh, I hated it, sold it. Okay, that's all right. That's bound to happen. I've heard people say that about Glocks. I've heard people say that about XDs. All kinds of guns. Hated it. Didn't work for me. Just wasn't having it. I didn't want it anymore, so I sold it. Took it to a gun show. Alright. You guys take it easy. Have a good night. Be safe. Like I said, keep the comments constructive.